Good evening, and welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View. There's some interesting news coming around tonight. I'm going to talk about Champions League first of all. Just get this coming on. There we go. Came on eventually, didn't it? Yes, this evening I want to talk a little bit about the Champions League scores from last night and the games that are on tonight. Before we talk about the game, the big talking point of the evening, and that's the 500 Celtic fans that are going to be banned. Who will they be? I have already spoken to some people, and I think that the boys and the Green Brigade will be banned from the next games at Hampden. Don't say you told you first, but I reckon that's what will happen. Anyway, yesterday in the Champions League, Celtic tried to get to the last 16 in the Champions League, but fell just short against Bayern Munich. Club Brugge played yesterday against Aston Villa, and Aston Villa won 3-1 away to Club Brugge. It was a battle of Madrid, also with Real Madrid playing Atletico Madrid, and Real Madrid just topping that game 2-1. PSV versus Arsenal. Will Kieran Tierney do a Paul Lambert? Will Kieran Tierney do a Paul Lambert and come back to Celtic as a Champions League winner? Could you imagine the turnaround on that? Could you imagine that? If Kieran Tierney was to get all the way to the Champions League final and win the Champions League with Arsenal and then come back to Celtic for a free, that would just make his career, wouldn't it? And it would put everything that's happened to him at Arsenal over the last 6 years, it would put it into perspective. And I mean, even if he's on the bench, he's still going to get a winner's medal. I just think you can see it's written in the stars that he's going to come back, and it'll be a pub quiz question for years to come. Which two Celtic players were Champions League winners when they came to Celtic? Which two Scottish players? And it'll hopefully be, and I hope it is Arsenal, just for Kieran Tierney. I mean, I'm not too fussy who actually wins it, but I think it would be a fairy tale. I think it would definitely be a fairy tale if Kieran Tierney was to just do what Paul Lambert did and then come back to Celtic and go on an absolutely fantastic run with Celtic. A bit like what Paul Lambert did. Anyway, Arsenal won yesterday 7-1 against PSV. Dortmund, that was 1-1, their game. Full time today is Inter versus Feyenoord in Holland. Inter won 2-0. They won that game 2-0. The games that are about to kick off or just have kicked off are Bayern versus Leverkusen, PSG versus Liverpool, and Benfica versus Barcelona. That'll be an interesting game, that Barcelona one. I seen the Real Madrid game on last night and I thought it was just a normal game. I just didn't realise it was the Champions League game. So obviously when Celtic are out of the Champions League, that's it as far as I'm concerned. Some score the Arsenal game last night. Yeah, and that's what got, when I seen it, I thought, do you know what? What if that was to happen? What if that was to happen? Anyway, let's get straight into the big news. Celtic have had an immediate 500 ticket reduction from our next game at Hampden, which will be if we beat Hibernian this weekend to get through to the later stages of the Scottish Cup. That game will be at Hampden and will be 500 supporters less. Now, having spoke to some people within both camps when it comes to the groups regarding Celtic, I have said that we all know what's going to happen. There is very limited details that came out as of yet, but if Celtic do get through to the next round in the Scottish Cup, you can guarantee it, on Monday morning, this coming Monday, the day after, Green Brigade and boys will get letters through the doors saying that they're suspended from Hampden for the next game. I reckon that's been part of the deal. They wouldn't just give Celtic, the SFA and SPFL wouldn't just give Celtic a blanket 500 ban. They'll make sure that they target the supporters that cause the trouble. And I reckon that we're going to, if we do, I think that the 500 that will get banned will be Green Brigade and boys supporters. There's no doubt about it. Having been in the trenches in that situation myself over the years, you know that that's the deal that's been cut between Celtic and the SFA. I was going to do a poll about it and saying, do you think it's fair? I thought it was only a League Cup game at Hampden. From what I'm reading, they're saying it's the next cup game. They're not just saying the League Cup. That's what I thought. I mean, I thought when it initially came out, I mean, there's different stories in the media just now. Some are saying it's the next League Cup game, and I'm sitting thinking, well, how can it, if it happened in the League Cup, how can there be a reduction in the Scottish Cup? But it's basically the SFA going, nope, enough's enough. That was too much at Hampden when the game was delayed for 14 minutes due to the smoke at Hampden. And it was a lengthy time. I mean, it was just unfortunate that there was no wind that day. And there's not many times at Hampden when there is no wind at all. Usually when you're at Hampden, you've got that swirling wind, and that would have got rid of the smoke within minutes. I mean, it was very rarely does it just engulf the complete stadium the way that it did that day. But with home ticket cup scheme membership at capacity, there is no way that Celtic will just say to the normal fan, look, you're 500 seats short. I think Celtic will make a point, and they will try to prove the point and target the supporters. And it's been done over the years. It's been done over the years. Challenging your integer. Charlie there, Baz. I'm sitting here thinking, nah. My inner Charlie Nicholas, am I? Not at all. I don't actually like Arsenal, but I just thought it would be, I think it'd be a fantastic story for Tierney to come. I take it Charlie Nicholas has said something similar. Definitely the League Cup, next time we play the League Cup game at Flint Mortar. Well, that's what there's different articles saying that it's after the Hibernian game in the Scottish Cup, and then there's some media outlets saying it's just the Scottish, the League Cup. I'm sure it'll all come out because let me just do. Let's say there are conflicting stories when it comes to this. SPFL. I'm reading the SPFL website right now. Oh, no. So it is just. So then why are some. Right, you've got to then go to the Celtic share. They are saying that the do you know what? I shouldn't go to Celtic web bloggers. So on the SPFL website, a suspension sanction of around the Commission found Celtic to have breached Rule H34 in respect to both semi-final and final of the Premier Sports Cup. In respect to the breach regarding the semi-final Premier Sports Cup, the following sanction was imposed: a suspended sanction of a reduction of 800 tickets to a future Premier Sports Cup match to be played at Hampden Park. And then the next one, if we use Pyrotechnics again at Hampden, so the suspended of 800 tickets for Celtic is if they let off pyro at any other game at Hampden Park in the Premier Sports Cup, there will be an immediate ban in the next game of 800 tickets. In respect of the breach of the final, this Premier Sports Cup, the following sanction was imposed: an immediate reduction of 500 tickets for the next Premier Sports Cup match to be played at Hampden Park. So we're fine for the next games. We're fine for this season. But when it comes to the Premier Sports Cup next season, when we try and do the treble next season, when we get to Hampden, there will be a reduction. And if any So this is going to go on for years, because this runs up to the 30th of March 2027. This runs up to the 30th of March. So Celtic have got a suspended of 800 tickets to any future Premier Sports Cup matches to be played at Hampden Park. Any other breach of the rule H34, pyrotechnic use by supporters of the club in any SPFL competition before March 2027, 30th of March 2027. Interesting. Jesus. Just give me 2 seconds. Anyway, that's interesting that it is a suspended. Is interesting. 1-0 Munich, Kane. There we go. SFA trying to influence the games, no surprise. Yeah, it is a bit of a warning, isn't it? I mean, in the statement, Celtic statement, what time was it put out? Doesn't say. Celtic, Motherwell, Sevco disciplinary outcomes. All 3 clubs in breach of SPFL rules. The SPFL have confirmed that Celtic have been found in breach of the SPFL rules following separate disciplinary hearings into behaviour of the club's supporters at this season's Premier Sports final, semi-finals and final. Proceedings go into large-scale organised and illegal pyrotechnics display at Celtic Aberdeen and Celtic Rangers in December were undertaken by an independent disciplinary commission and have now concluded that the club have found to have breached SPFL rule H34 and failing to ensure, as far as reasonably practicable, that their supporters did not unacceptable conduct at those matches, did not engage in unacceptable conduct. So the charge is actually for unacceptable conduct. Yeah, up to your knees in Fenian blood, and all that palaver seems to get on fine just in Scotland on an ongoing basis, doesn't it? Yeah. The anti-Catholic rhetoric is still alive and well and truly in Scotland, I could see, on this holy of all holy days being Ash Wednesday. Celtic, these displays led to a 14-minute display in Celtic Aberdeen and a 5-minute display. The Commission found that Celtic have breached SPFL Rule H34 in respect to both semi-final and final of the Premier Sports Cup. In respect to the breach regarding the semi-final of the Premier Sports Cup, the following sanction was imposed. A suspended sanction reduction of 800 tickets for a future Premier Sports Cup match to be played at Hampden Park in the event of another breach of an SPFL Rule H34. How come the SPFL are doing it? Because the SPFL are nothing to do with the League Cup and the Scottish Cup. That comes under the SFA. Interesting. The club supporters, any use of pyrotechnics by the club in any SPFL competition before March 30th, 2027. So if we use pyro at any SPFL game between now and the 30th of March 2027, we're going to get a further reduction of 800 tickets. That one has been suspended. In respect of the breach of the final Premier Sports, the following sanction was imposed: an immediate reduction of 500 tickets for the next Premier Sports match to be played at Hampden Park. You know, I know, even Patsy Kensett knows that there's going to be pyro between now and 2027. Is this the SPFL and clamping down on pyro within the game, and they're going to start targeting the fans. They're not being specific, but we all know that that Celtic will get very specific in their targeting of the people that get banned. It will lead to the Green Brigade and the boys getting a hefty ban from games. Where did they get the 800 number from? It's like 100 fans banned per one pyro. James, I don't know. I don't know. No idea. No 55 celebration then. Yep, Kaiser, there'll be no 55 celebration. There'll be no fireworks going off when the league flag furls high at the end of the season. No pyro at all. Fucking double standards. The coin followed by abuse for Arnie. Yeah. It's funny how they're very particular on anything, but listen, they've had fans. The Rangers and Motherwell are also getting fans banned. Motherwell, the commission found that Motherwell breached a suspended sanction of 800 tickets for a future Premier Sports Cup match to be played at Hampden. Motherwell have also had that suspended reduction for a Premier Sports Cup game. In the event of another breach of SPFL Rule H34 through pyrotechnic use by supporters of the club at any SPFL competition before March. So if Motherwell let off pyro at any other game, they're going to get a ban of 800 as well. The Sevco, Their sheet runs like and how come they're not getting a right? They hoofed. At least we've only got 2 charges on our sheet. Sevco reads like a book. Right, here's the Sevco's. The commission found that Sevco breached SPFL rule. Blah 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 blah. Blah blah blah. What did they do that for? In respect of the breach regarding the semi-final, the Premier Sports Cup, following the sanction was a suspended sanction of 800 tickets for the Premier Sports Cup match to be played at Hampden Park in the event of an SPFL blah blah blah. Pyrotechnic used by any club competition, they're the same as. In respect of the breach of the final, the same as. An immediate one of 500 tickets. There's going to be no Huns at Hampden anytime soon. SPFL H34 states that each club must ensure, as far as reasonable practicable, that H34, its players, officials, supporters, and any person exercising function or connected with the club do so engage in unacceptable conduct at the stadium on occasion of an official match. H34-2 identifies of supporters who engage in unacceptable conduct. H34-3, it takes appropriate disciplinary measures. Fucking who cares? So that is it. If there's any pyro whatsoever, there's going to be a ban. Operation Green Smoke in Ibrox. Somebody should just throw loads of catapults and what you should just do? Just fly drones over Ibrox and drop loads of blue pyro. Just saying. Loads of blue pyro just to piss them off and get them banned for another game. Anyway, play Celtic Cup games at Paradise. Cannot ban us from Celtic Park. This is true. But then that's not going to happen. The Buns hit players and coaches with bottles, coins, punish. With last minute penalties. SFA deflecting from the shady refs by targeting fans yet again. We all know the board hate the Green Brigade. Yes, we know that, Paul. And they will target them when it comes to this ban. And Celtic Match says, please hit the thumbs up. Let me see what the current scores are in the Champions League. Why is it not giving me the current scores? Bayern are winning 1-0. PSG Liverpool is 0-0. And Benfica Barcelona is 0-0 also. I might go and watch the Benfica Barcelona game. The last 16 of the Champions League. That's a funky old result. Anyway, there's not a lot of Celtic news kicking around tonight. Celtic have just released a statement. Which I'll read out in just a second. Celtic Football Club notes today's SPFL judgment relating to the use of pyrotechnics at matches. Clearly, it's a hugely disappointing that our wider support will be negatively affected by the future SPFL League Cup matches at Hampden following the actions of a small minority. It is well known that we also currently face a UEFA suspended sentence as a result of previous pyrotechnics, most recently at a match against Borussia Dortmund, by a small minority, they keep going, the small minority of supporters, something which could potentially have a negative and damaging impact on the team and Celtic supporters wishing to attend any away match in UEFA competition supporting the team. The club has been very clear that the use of fireworks and pyrotechnics at matches is illegal and presents risks to supporters' safety and the club under the applicable regulations. The fact that the use of pyrotechnics by a small minority is now adversely affecting the attendance of our supporters at matches should act as a very serious wake-up call to those involved. Celtic FC statement put out just 10-15 minutes ago. Interesting that they are now this is divide and conquer, isn't it? It's try anything that you can do before the end of the season to try divide and conquer the Celtic support. And we all knew that the one for the Champions League was there. And we were lucky to get away with the clown that threw the smoke bomb onto the pitch. It's go on PSV. PSG are winning against Liverpool. There you go. So that's interesting that Celtic have just put out that small minority. Small minority, yeah, target the whole fan base. Is that what the small of the poorest? I think that this is coming to a stage that Celtic will definitely take action against the small minority. They will just sit and bide their time. They will sit and bide their time. They might not do anything between now and the end of the season, but they will definitely just sit and bide their time. No. That game was offside. So it was. It's still 9-0 in the Liverpool game. Completely shattered, right? Yeah, even the trip says Thomas Tam the Hoops 67. So anyway, it's just a quick one. Munich are also 1-0 up in the Champions League. Yep, Bayern are 1-0 up. PSG versus Liverpool was 0-0. It was offside. And Benfica, Barcelona's just had a player sent off. Barcelona have had a player sent off. Wow. Probability of a win now goes to 48% Benfica, with only 26% to Barcelona. Even though Barcelona have had the majority of the match so far. Unbelievable. Excuse me. Right, anyway, that's me done and dusted for it. I'm just doing a quick live because I am completely shattered, and it was just to get that breaking news that Celtic fans have been banned, and Celtic have put out the club statement regarding that. I'll put that in there. Barca down to 10. Yeah, I just said that. Barca down to 10. I'm going to go and watch some football before I crash out on the couch. Anyway, can't give Benfica winning. Can't have Benfica winning, says Irishman in Porto. Oof, that'd be upsetting for you, wouldn't it? Anyway, that's me done and dusted for this evening. I shall see you tomorrow morning, and then we'll be back with an hour live tomorrow evening. We'll be back to an hour live to talk about the game on Sunday in the massive